Now, it's common when we start calisthenics, especially if we come from a weight training background, that we think we're going to lose strength, especially in the legs. And I think this is very important, especially as you get older. So I'm 47, about to turn 48, and I'm as strong as I've ever been in my upper body. So my push-in, my pull-in, both my straight arm and my bent arm is still really good. But I'm conscious that I'm going to probably lose some leg strength unless I do some maintenance work. Now, my go-to maintenance, especially as you're older, is the deadlift. So I make sure a few times a month that I'm hitting deadlift, I'm working up to a 1 rep max. It makes me feel strong, and it's a good indication or assessment of my current level and just checks that I'm not getting weaker and weaker. But today I've put together a short, sharp routine that includes deadlifts, includes upper body strength, both bent arm, straight arm, and it can be scaled for lots of levels. Now I'm showing the more advanced version, especially when it comes to the skill work. So we start with the deadlift because that's the most demanding in terms of the nervous system. So I'm going to do 5 repetitions there. I've just done one set at 100. I've just put another couple of 10s on, so that's 120 for my second set. And then we're going to go over, do a front lever muscle up. Now I have to be a little bit careful here with space. So I'm restricted front lever wise and back lever, depends which way I turn around this point of view. And then obviously I've got a limited clearance. So I have to go from an L-sit front lever type position underneath the rings, get above the rings, I'm fine at the top there. And then when I come down to my back lever, front lever position, I'm gonna have to decide which way round I go because my legs are restricted in this way, but not restricted in this way. So you'll see what I mean. So I'm gonna do 5 reps here. And then rest as much as I need to before going over to the front lever, muscle up. See that I touched the wall, but now I've left enough clearance this side so I can come through to go into a full back lever. So I'm holding here for around 5 seconds. Back in, now front lever, 5 seconds. And then back out. So we're getting the deadlift, we're getting the muscle up, so the pull and the push bent arm, and then we're getting the planche-like position for the back lever, so straight arm push-in type movement, and then we're getting the front lever to finish. So pulling, straight arm position. So a really good rounded routine, very taxing because we're starting with that high intensity movement at the start with the deadlifts before going through the skills. So you're gonna have to play around. You can tell by my breath that I'm pushing it, but you have to play around with in terms of what's your 5 rep max and how will that combine with these other movements. You're probably gonna have to decrease this a little bit to be able to manage the skill work here. Now it's a combination of skill and strength, depending on your strengths and weaknesses. Now obviously the deadlift is easily scalable. We can just start with a barbell, we can go up to 500 kilos, depending on how strong you are. So that one's nice and easy. The next one's a little bit harder. You might not have a muscle up. If you don't have a muscle up, you've got a choice. You could do a muscle up type movement. So you could do a toe assist, so an assisted muscle up, and then you could do your down to your back lever position, whatever variation you have here. So whether that's tuck or opening out your position, exactly the same when you come through to your front lever. So the front lever and the back lever, again, are relatively easy to open out to harder progressions, bring back into easier progressions or regressions of the full movement. Muscle up, we can use toe assist, or we could just do chins and dips. But you might find if you're going to go chins and dips, especially if you can do repetitions, that it's going to be very taxing with the repetitions of the deadlift. And then adding that back lever, front lever on the end is going to be a really challenging superset. So I'd recommend you go more skill work for the muscle up and limit the front lever and back lever to around that 5 seconds. Another option could be jumping up to your support position, coming down to the bottom of your dip, transitioning through. So you get an eccentric muscle up, then pulling through to a back lever, and then a front lever before pulling back out. So let's run through the progressions and the regressions of each of the movements. So the deadlift is really simple. We can just decrease the weight or increase the weight. Try and stick to around the 5 reps. I wouldn't go much lower than that. It's going to get way too intense, and then your rest period you're going to need is going to be way too long. So a 5 rep is probably a good place to be for most people. Then we have the muscle up. Now that could be a bar muscle up, it could be a strict muscle up, it could be a dynamic muscle up. We can regress it to the eccentric, toe assist, chin dip. You could use any of the other assistant exercises. You get someone to spot you, use a band, etc. But just think that's a push and a pull bent arm, more skill specific because we're not doing lots of repetitions. So that's why I wouldn't go so much with the chins and dips, but that is an option. And then we come back down, so we lower muscle down, ideally to a back lever. Now the back lever can be a tuck advanced tuck, half lay, frog position, straddle, anything in between. I'd only be holding for around 5 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, and then you transition through to the front lever, do exactly the same thing. Cool thing with the front lever and the back lever is we use the same progressions. Most people are stronger on the front lever than the back lever. Maybe. I'm actually the other way around. I'm much stronger on the back lever than the front lever. Your other option is a TikTok or a skin the cat. So that's going between the movements. So you'll be up in your top support position, ideally lower down, muscle through. So muscling through would be that. If you can't do that, set the rings up at a height where you do a support position, come down, toe assist through, roll through. Now the skin the cat would be that full movement, toe assist if you need it to come back through, nice and tight tuck. Or the TikTok is going from that top position, muscling down, rolling through, go to back lever, then back to your front lever, and TikTok transition between the two. So there's no real holds there, you're just doing repetitions. I'd visit each one 2 to 4 times and just play with the depth on each one. 3 to 5 sets, and if you wanted to, you could just use that as your routine. So you could do that 3 times a week, twice a week, and that would cover most of your movements. Now it's not covering balance, so you're not going into the handstand work. So I'd highly recommend that you do a handstand mobility session combined with that, if that was going to be your routine. Now I am going to add that one with all the progressions and regressions to my app. If you have any requests for the YouTube channel and or my app, so any programs that you'd like to see in there, any skills you'd like to see, let me know down in the comments or reach out on my website, www.paultwyman.com.au, and I'll speak to you in the next one.